Narcan es un medicamento utilizado para prevenir los efectos de una sobredosis. Ayuda con el entrenamiento y la distribución de Narcan. Y Nora es una aplicación gratuita del Departamento de Salud de Connecticut. Use Nora para prevenir, tratar e informar sobre dosis de opioides. También puede ayudar con las referencias para pruebas rápidas del VIH, hepatitis C y referidos para el tratamiento de abuso de sustancias. Si usted o alguien que ama está luchando con problemas de abuso de sustancias, por favor, ven a vernos. Mi nombre es Edwin León, soy un trabajador de alcance para el Departamento de Salud Pública en Waterbury.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Community Diversity Committee for the City of Waterbury. Glad to have you here this evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we will now have our roll call. All right, Mayor O'Leary. Pastor Christopher Reese could not be with us on tonight. He will be absent. I believe today is his birthday, so happy birthday to him. Wishing him a multitude of blessings and increases for the year ahead. Jenny Ray Clay.
Present.
Pastor Hobson.
Present.
Cherry Lamb. Is here. Jalea West. Margaret Hayward Bowen. Amari Brantley. Jim O'Rourke.
Here.
Reverend Castellano. Andrew Beeman. David Morgan. Sean Mosley, Esquire.
Present. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Dr. Ruffin will not be with us this evening. Sabir Gordon.
Good evening, present.
Albana Lame.
Present.
And Attorney Isaias Diaz.
Present.
Okay. 6, 7, 8. All right. We are one shy of our quorum. I believe it has to be 50 plus 1. So we will not be able to take action on our minutes, and we will table them until the next meeting. I believe that is the next item on the agenda, was to approve our minutes. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. The Pledge of Allegiance. Attorney Diaz, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We've been informed the next item on the agenda is our public speaking portion, and we do not have anyone who signed up for the public speaking portion. We will now move. The next item on our agenda was the approval of the minutes, but because we do not currently have a quorum, wait, do we have someone else join us? No. We do not have a quorum, so we will table the minutes from the June 16th, 2021 meeting until our next meeting and approve them at that time. What we would like to have, going to the next item on the agenda, is a report out from the subcommittees. I know there's some really good work happening in the subcommittees, and really excited to hear the highlights from each of the chairs of those subcommittees, even those who are serving in the capacity of interim chair. So we look forward to hearing what's happening thus far in those meetings, and we'll start with the Law Enforcement Subcommittee Chair, and I believe that's Mr. Mosley.
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair. I just want to say good evening, everyone. Good to be back amongst you all. The Law Enforcement Subcommittee met last week, and we had a very successful meeting. Our guest was our esteemed police chief, Chief Fernando Spagnola. We also had the chair of the Board of Police Commissioners, Chris Dorso. And Chief Spagnola reported out on a lot of the initiatives and a lot of the strategies that Waterbury Police Department has implemented over the last year or so, but also just in general in terms of promoting diversity. One of the hot button issues and concerns that members of the public expressed over the last year or so was the implementation of body cams in the police department. We know that in the past, funding has been an issue, but the chief was able to tell us that the city is close to solidifying a contract with a vendor who can't be named at this time, but so the body cameras will be implemented soon in our department. So we find that as a success. Also, the chief reported out on some numbers I just wanted to read, and they're also evident in the minutes. So as of right now, approximately 25% of the police force is people of color. The current exam applicants, 61% are minority. 287 police officers on the 468 are minority. He did mention that there was a sharp decrease in the amount of applicants this go around. He cites a lot of the negative press that police have gotten over the last year or so. But of those applicants, 41% are minority. He did mention as the challenges of getting together in person of COVID are somewhat more alleviated. The department is planning more community-based events and asked the subcommittee as well as the diversity committee as a whole to support the police department, in their efforts to reach back out to the community. We know that our police department has done a good job in terms of outreach and getting to the public, but they are actively asking for more support. And it was funny, and it's reflected.
You muted, Mr. Mosley.
Yes, what was the last thing you heard me say?
You said our police department is doing a good job with outreach, and then I heard mute.
Right.
Muted.
So the next thing I was going to say is, but the chief is adamant about support. He mentioned that he had a conversation recently with a member of Congress about needs. And, right now, while we always need financial resources, the bigger need of the two is support from our committee, support from the public. He also mentioned that they're in the process of trying to expand their community policing program. He said it has been difficult, but he would like more more officers to take ownership of particular areas and get more officers who are not community police officers more familiar with various parts of the city. So I'll conclude there, and I'll allow Attorney Diaz to speak as well from the subcommittee.
Thank you, Mr. Mosley. Mr. Diaz?
Yeah, essentially, another thing the chief was saying was that it tends to be just the same batch of people to show up at every community event that they hold, and it tends to be the same community officers. So what he really needed from us was trying to get different people from the community to show up, especially the non-believers, so to speak, people who are a little skeptical of the police. And what he wanted to do in the department was implement a geographical area ownership, so to speak. So let's say you're a patrol officer in the North End, kind of own that area, not just when you're on the clock, but if you're, you know, in your off time, try to show up at the community events, the outreach events, because he really wants the community to meet the officers that they would actually be interacting with in the event that a call takes place. That's what he's asking from us. With regard to the body cameras and the dashboard cams, what I really like about both is that anytime the taser is pulled or a firearm is pulled, the camera goes on automatically. And the same thing with the dashboard cams. Anytime the sirens or the flashers go on, same thing. So I think that would be, that's going to be excellent for community safety and to grow confidence in the community, and also to make general people in the community that have interactions with our police feel that there's some layer of protection and safety. To be honest with you, I was very impressed with the data that they came forward with, and I'm there having an event, I believe August 3rd. I'm going to try to attend if I can, and I also encourage several members of our diversity committee or our circles of influence, if we can go out and create an atmosphere of interaction with the police so that they can meet with some of the people in the community and vice versa. I think it'd be very helpful in accomplishing our goal with the diversity committee.
Can you give a little, you said August 3rd, can you speak? Yeah, Sabir asked for more information. Can you give a little more detail? What is this the August 3rd event you're speaking?
I actually don't have a lot of details other than it's one of their evening outreach type of events. I'm sure it's something they've done in the past. I don't have a lot of details though. We are waiting to get those. He also mentioned that they're going to bring back the town hall type of conference. It continues to wind down, but we'd have to reach out and get that information so we could circulate it to the group.
Yes, Madam Chair, I believe it will be in the Crown Brook area, but as Attorney Diaz said, we will get that information to the diversity committee as a whole. And I just wanted to reiterate, I know that a couple meetings ago, I had lifted her name for consideration, but I just want to emphasize Attorney Leanne Silva Neal, someone who we put forth her name for recommendation. I think she would be a phenomenal addition to not only the diversity committee, but also the law enforcement committee, especially with her previous role as a prosecutor, but also her current role working for in a nonprofit agency in the state that really works a lot with these issues. So I'd just like to lift that up as well. So thank you. And if there are any other questions, we'll be happy to take them at this time.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the committee for Mr. Mosley or Attorney Diaz?
I have my hand up. This is Jenny Ray. I don't have a question. I just wanted to clarify that August 3rd is the National Night Out. Across the country, police departments join communities, and they stand out, and they stand in their neighborhoods and in their communities to show a sign of solidarity in fighting crime.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate that clarification. Any other comments or questions? And I apologize for not seeing your hand. Any other questions or comments for Attorney Diaz or Mr. Mosley? Okay. Thank you so much. The next subcommittee report out is that of Economic Opportunity and Housing.
That would be me. So unfortunately, I have not had the opportunity to get together with my subcommittee yet. But one of the things that I did notice in the notes and information that were sent, which were supposed to be our starting point of conversation, economic development and housing was not addressed at the town hall meetings. So we are going to need to start from the ground. And in a week's time, I will have reached out to all of my subcommittee members, and we will have an agenda and a direction in which way we're going to go with both of those opportunities.
Thank you, Madam President. Just for a point of information that could be of help and assistance is the Community Wellbeing Report from 2019 from the Greater Waterbury Health Partnership that really covers all the areas that these subcommittees are looking at. It is a great starting point with regard to things associated with income, poverty levels, housing is also noted in there, even issues associated with eviction rates and things of that nature. So it's a good place to start and see what
I have that report. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay. Muted myself. Next committee is the Public Health Committee. Pastor Hobson.
All right, greetings to everyone. A few of the, can you hear me? All right.
Yes, we can hear you. Yep.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you. So some of the things that we dealt with, we talked about racism as a public health crisis. We talked about the passing, signing of the bill, declaring racism as a public health crisis in Connecticut, and then the need for the city of Waterbury to do the same. As a city, we talked about health equity solutions and their efforts and the implementation statewide and providing guidance to cities and towns around steps to begin to develop strategies to address racism as a public health crisis. There is a two-part webinar that is available through Health Equity Solutions that's pretty informative around this particular topic. Also, they provide templates for drafting materials around the topic. One of the goals is to invite or to receive some input from Health Equity Solutions before our next meeting. And in addition to that, to allow someone from the Human Rights Commission in Waterbury, as previously requested and recommended by President Jenny Ray Clay. And so we think that that would be beneficial to us as well. We also discussed data noted in the Community Health Needs Assessment for Waterbury from 2019 from the Greater Waterbury Health Partnership. Some of the things that that was highlighted that we discussed was racial ethnic diversity of the city, housing, particularly the eviction rate, life expectancy, income earning disparities, and the ways in which education is connected to overall health and well-being. So that is a summary of what we dealt with at our meeting.
Thank you, Pastor Hobson. I would also like to lift, since when we talk about racism being a public health crisis and it being passed by the state legislature and health equity solutions, I appreciate the lifting of the two-part webinar. But I think, Pastor Hobson, we also wondered if when we have the presentation, if that would maybe be a joint meeting with some of the other subcommittees, since it does cover their area. When we talk about housing, education, I think all the other subcommittees would then fit into that. So that's something that we'd like to propose, that potentially could be a joint meeting, and having the Human Rights Commission and or someone from, they have a point of contact at Health Equity Solutions, which is the entity responsible for providing guidance and implementation support to cities and towns around this matter of racism being a public health crisis. So I would propose that to the other chairs of the subcommittees to consider possible joint meeting with the Public Health Subcommittee.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor Hobson. Any questions, comments for Pastor Hobson regarding the Public Health Committee? Let's scroll, see if I see any hands. Okay. Seeing none, we'll have a report out now from the Education Subcommittee. The chair, I believe, is Mrs. Severe Gordon.
Hi. All right. So I think I got it to work. Good evening, everyone. So unfortunately, we didn't meet this past time. I was away on vacation and somehow got my fingers crossed. But I shared with the committee a document that we had created based on the first conversation that we had a couple months ago. We had a great first meeting. And I think one of the things that we talked about was like individuals not knowing how to get involved and kind of what were the rules around speaking at the Board of Ed. So we created this document, which I hope you can open it. It took me a little while to like get Zoom to access my Google Drive, but if you can't, just let me know and I'll email it out. I think we had a really good start, but one of the things, you know, summers are a little tricky to get together, but I definitely know that we will be getting together again next month, and we'll be able to, at least I hope we'll be able to have a little bit more of an update. One of the main things that we had talked about was the school to prison pipeline, and Dr. Ruffin, we're gonna get together and she's gonna share kind of what's changed in the last year or so. Like the numbers have decreased significantly. Like Waterbury is still an outlier, I think, in many places, but a lot has changed. And we'll be able to, we want to present to the entire committee some of the movement that has happened around the school-based arrests. So that's kind of what we've done so far, and I'm looking forward to digging a little bit deeper.
Thank you, Sabira. Any questions for Sabira?
Could she forward that email, that document to Judy to send out to everyone, and then we can have it as part of the meeting minutes, please?
I don't really have a question. I wanted to supplement some commentary that I totally forgot to mention. With regard to school arrest, the Commissioner Chief Spagnuolo also talked about his support for the school officers. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the term of art. It's been a long day, and essentially that all of them are Waterbury born and bred, and they also reflect the demographic of the student body that they serve. And I believe he also said that he provided us some feedback as to why the numbers might be so high. So that might be something that both of our subcommittees can discuss in a group later on down the road.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, Sabir. I think I might have cut you off. You were going to say something? Sabira? Uh-oh, I hope I didn't run her away.
All right, what was your question, Althea? Sorry, my daughter was chatting.
You were talking. Look, see, I'm talking over you now again. Like you were going to say something. Let me be quiet.
Oh no, I was saying that would be great, since I think it would be good to do like a coordinated meeting between the Law Enforcement and the Education Committee, since that was one of the biggest issues that came up surrounding education in the town halls.
Awesome. Definitely sounds like there's some overlap there and some great opportunity to really collaborate around what seems to be a common issue for your two subcommittees. Any other questions for Sabira? Comments, reflections, things to consider? All right. Thank you to all the chairs and members of the committee and your contribution. I'm really excited that the work is beginning to move. We have a goal of hopefully having some clear recommendations, not a firm deadline, but hopefully at the top of the year, we can have some good recommendations to provide to the mayor to move forward on a number of these items. And as I've said in previous meeting, we have a very unique time, not only in our city's history, but the country, really to have resources to put some of these desired outcomes and desired initiative strategies in place with the potential resources that exist, not only in our city, but also in the state. So I'm really excited for the time in which we're beginning the work. You know, the sacred text says for such a time as this. So I'm really excited about where we are. I'll move to the next agenda item, which is new business. And I'd like to go back to what Mr. Mosley offered up. But before I get to that, all the notes from each of the subcommittees will be posted under your respective subcommittee in the space it is on the city's website. And those minutes will be posted for the public to review when your agenda is posted for your next meeting. I do believe our next subcommittee meetings are August 10th, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Judy?
It's the second Tuesday of the month. So if I don't have my calendar in front of me, but if that's the second Tuesday of the month, then yeah.
Okay. So second Tuesday of the month, 6 p.m., I believe, are our subcommittee meetings. So the next one will be August 10th at 6 p.m. And I believe we have the Zoom links already set and established for your meetings. Thank you so much to the IT department, the city clerk's office, and Judy and Mr. Webster for really supporting us and kind of really standardizing our meeting times. The next thing on the agenda that I'd like to lift for under new business, Mr. Mosley lifted the name of Miss Leanne Silva Neal. I appreciate that. We do have a number of vacancies on the committee. We did receive some direction that if there are names that we can offer to the mayor for those vacancies, that would be welcomed. She has a background, I believe Mr. Mosley said, that can fit in a number of the areas we are focusing on. We do have a number of members that have been unable to attend the meetings. And I had spoken briefly with Judy with regard to the rules and responsibilities that Mr. Webster shared with us, and there was no clear guidance or around number of meetings that could be missed that would then affect or impact a person's membership on the committee. So I will make the attempt to reach out to a number of individuals who have been unresponsive and have not been in attendance for a number of meetings. I do know for Pastor Angel Castellano, this time on Wednesdays is his Bible study time, but he is active on the subcommittee and is showing up there. As for the other members, I will be in touch and leave an amount of time for them to respond. If we do not hear from them, we would welcome additional names, and we would like to submit those names, not one at a time, but a group of names to the mayor at one time so that he can vet them at that time and then hopefully appoint them accordingly. So I will reach out by email if I do not hear from those additional individuals so that we can fill out the committee because our public health committee currently only has 2 people on it. We have 3 now. Miss Albana Lame is on our committee, but we're down 2 people. I think there's 4 or 5 on each of the committees. So it'd be great for us to at least fill out the public health committee. So if there is a name for someone that you know has a certain skill or expertise around public health and the matters that will be taken up, we welcome that recommendation. Mr. Mosley, if you can resend that resume to Judy, that would be greatly appreciated for Miss Neal.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I've already sent it to Judy, but I will send it again. And I just want to state for the record, I understand the process and procedure that has to take place. But I am concerned at this point, and we have somebody that is highly skilled, highly qualified, highly recommended, and really wants to get engaged with the committee. So I would just kind of push the leadership to expedite the process as much as possible.
If that's not a problem at all, if that's someone you guys want to get on the committee right away, I'd certainly bring that to the mayor, and that's not an issue at all. So I apologize, Sean, I didn't see the resume, so I'll be on the lookout for that, and I'll get that in front of the mayor ASAP.
All right, I'll resend right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Judy. We'll have that received, and again, I will reach out to the individuals who have not been in attendance or responsive, and within a reasonable time, allow them. A lot of things are happening in this last year. A lot of things are happening in the last year with regard to COVID, things happening with people with regard to work, families. So I'm trying to be sensitive to that. But I will reach out, and hopefully before the next Community Diversity Committee, we can have, please share any additional names with me, and I'll make sure Pastor Reese is aware of those too. We will get those to the mayor, to Judy, so that she can then get those to the mayor, and we can get these seats filled. And by the time of our next committee meeting, we can hopefully have those individuals seated. Okay. Thank you for your consideration and any names or nominations. With regard to Waterbury Promise, I don't have an update. Sabira, not sure where that is, that particular item. That I would assume that would fall under your education subcommittee too.
Hi, Sabira, it's Judy. I'm working on that with Mayor O'Leary. We're still having meetings. It's definitely in the forefront. Still are having 2 meetings tomorrow. So hopefully I'll have more information to give you at the next meeting in September.
Thank you so much.
Here.
Okay, and to Judy's point, the committee of the whole, the larger committee, will not be meeting in August. Our next meeting of the larger committee will be in September, but please, as stated, the subcommittees are scheduled to meet on August 10th at 6 p.m. We definitely want to keep the work of the subcommittees going forward. And we will then at the September meeting approve the minutes, as I said, for the June 16th meeting. The notes from your respective subcommittees will be posted accordingly with your committees on the website, and we'll look to hear even more greater report outs in September. Yes. The meetings of the full body, the whole committee, we meet on the 3rd Wednesday at 7 p.m. So the committee of the whole is on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. with the link is already set for us. And if you didn't receive that or can't find that email, because they do get lost, trust me, I know it happens to me. We can get that sent out to you again. And the same thing for the subcommittees. That's the 2nd Tuesday at 6 p.m. And all the subcommittees, as you know, meet at the same time.
Yes, Madam Chair, quick question.
Sure.
Yeah, I just resent the recommendation along with Attorney Neal's resume to the leadership. I'm just asking for confirmation for that, to just make sure it went through. I'm a little concerned at this point as to it reaching the right destination.
I received it, Sean.
All right, thank you.
Received, Sean, I have it as well.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. If there is no other business, questions, concerns? All right, hearing none, I will welcome a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I was trying to unmute myself and I couldn't do it. So I'm so sorry. Just on this agenda that is handed out, it does say Thursday's meeting will be broadcast live. Today is Wednesday, so I don't know if we need to make that correction.
It does say Thursday.
I will make that correction. Yes, I will make that correction.
Thank you for catching that.
Sure.
Appreciate that. All right, so the Motion has properly moved. I just need a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I hear no nays, no abstentions. The motion carries. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for all your hard work. And we look forward to seeing you back with this committee in September, and looking forward to hearing great things happening from your subcommittees in August. And until then, stay safe, be healthy, get some sunshine. Hopefully, if you haven't been on a vacation, you'll get one. And take care of yourselves, everybody.
You too, Madam Chair.
All right, be well.
Yeah, be well.
You too. Have a great evening.
All right, take care.
Hi, Monroe Webster.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Blacks and Latinos have limited access to prevention, treatment, and recovery services for substance use disorders. And while they have similar rates of opioid misuse as the general population, in recent years, Blacks have experienced the greatest increase in rates of overdose death from opioids, according to a 2020 study. To learn more about how to reduce your risk, come see me. I'm Samuel Bowens, and I'm a part of the Waterbury Health Department Prevention Unit. We are a judgment-free zone, and we are here to help.